Welcome back to the CSGO Pro League. We're getting ready for our next matchup, our match of the night. That's going to be C9 taking on OpTic Gaming. I'd like to thank one of our sponsors, SanDisk, for making this season happen, and also mention that the Guild Wars 2 World Championship is taking place September 17th. The world's best teams are going to be battling it out for their share of $200,000 in prizes. For more information on that, follow at ESL GW2. So, OpTic Gaming going up against C9. Now, C9, they just saw what Echo Fox did. They're now moving into second place. They need to win both of these maps to move into first place.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be an easy task. So as we take a look here at the roster, Jake, Stewie2K, Yip, the young Stewart 2000, has been playing incredible Counter-Strike. I would say, I think I said earlier in the show, I think he's probably the best player in North America right now. Consistently has shown up for them for the past, I would say, month or two. Came out really, really strong so far in this Pro League season. OpTic is the new name on the board there. Played pretty well for them so far. I think the firepower that they're bringing to the table is just too much for most teams. Be interesting to see if Tarek can help OpTic's firepower. So we take a look over at the OpTic roster. Dab, Snaf, Tarek, Rush, and Mixwell. Mixwell's been playing very well so far. I think he had maybe one off map. I know on Twitter he felt like he could have certainly played better in their series against Liquid, especially in that double overtime, kind of that junkyard brawl where it was just back and forth, that he felt like he could have been the X factor to help them secure that win. They are playing on Train. It is a map that he's exceptionally well prepared on. He knows all the angles, all the off angles. Should be a good matchup.
All right, without further ado, I think the players are getting ready in the lobby, so we're going to throw this over to the casters. Blue and Moses, take it away, fellas.
Players are still working on getting themselves actually into the lobby itself, so probably going to be
these divas.
Probably going to be a few more minutes.
Just wanting to play with low pings and all.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Just online conditions. US is a big place, man. It's not like Europe.
Still.
People spread out all over the place.
Either way. Yeah, they are figuring out what server they're going to be playing on. But yeah, this is going to be a cool matchup. A little bit worried just because of what we saw out of OpTic yesterday. Can't imagine they'll come with that same level.
The good news is, though, is that, I mean, to start it off, things are going to be on Train, which is a great map pick for them. And Cloud9 as well, with them looking strong. I still feel like it's going to be really competitive, kind of up in the air as far as who's going to be taking it.
Yeah, Cloud9's got some cool, you know, they're a cool team on Train. They've one of those. It's one of those maps where, I mean, when Sean was on it, they were pretty good on it, and still they've kept some level, some degree of competitiveness on it. So. It is a map that I would almost say is a better map for OpTic, but I still think Cloud9, especially with the level that we've seen Scoodle at so far this season, some of the levels that we've seen Shroud and Nothing hit, and obviously I think Stewie right now is playing. I know Ryu believes him to be the best player in North America. I think he's probably hitting a level like that. Haven't seen it for long enough, but he's certainly playing like he's the best player. So this is going to be a tough match for OpTic.
The new edition OpTic also showing some good stuff for them.
Yeah,
so with them kind of hitting like that honeymoon period sort of thing, the high swing where everybody's like, yeah, we've got this new roster, it's feeling great, everything's going, you know, pretty well for us at the moment. So it's basically just a question of how long is that going to last.
Well, no reason it can't continue. Yeah. I think he brings a lot of. He's an impact player that, unlike someone like Nothing, and unlike someone like Stewie, he's a player who's not necessarily always looking for the play. He's looking to do his role, and he's good in it, and he does good in what he's supposed to do in each tactic, each round, and then he just has a really good impact from there. So they needed a player who wasn't, you know, going to overextend all the time or go for that hyper aggressive. You can make plays being passive, and they found that.
And so as we talk about OpTic again, I mean, you were casting the match yesterday. Like, what are your thoughts on Tarek so far jumping into this team? It seemed to do pretty good in the first map, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, I mean, in this team, I don't really know in the context of this team, just because, well, one, they got steamrolled by Liquid, not necessarily, I mean, some of it was partially in the scoreline, but also that was a Liquid that seemed to be back to kind of what we know them as, that aggressive team who wasn't scared of fights. The team's the kind of team that we didn't see in the first four, so I think OpTic ran into a really pissed off Liquid, which was unfortunate. Tarek is just, he's one of those players as well. I mean, I've said it numerous times from his entirety of his career in CLG. He's going to have hot and cold matches. It's the style of play he has, and they need to be successful, they need to put him in some kind of structure, and they haven't had the time quite yet to do that.
As we can continue the discussion about Tarek here, it seems like as of late, he's kind of been a lot more cold than we've seen the hot days from him. Starting at the beginning of this year, I would say that there was a period where he was looking really good, like leading up to Columbus, but after that, it's for the most part, we really haven't seen all that much from him. It's been really a quiet period for Tarek, even going into Cologne, where he wanted to try and work really hard to make this his event. Unfortunately, we just didn't really see that all that much.
Yeah, I mean, Columbus and Malmo were probably the 2 tournaments where I saw Tarek playing his best, and outside of that, it's really been nothing spectacular despite all the excitement. And he's going to be going against a guy like Stewie, who's the complete opposite. Basically, since he joined this team, a little bit quiet for maybe a month or 2, but pretty much for all of 2016, you know, ever since really E-League, I think everyone's kind of been just like, this guy is gonna be very, very good. Still young, still inexperienced in terms of professional level play. So he's gonna keep growing. And then Tarek, he's the exact opposite. He's got all the experience, and he just hasn't found his consistency still, which is very worrying for a player at this level.
But he's been searching for, I think the quote was like a team that he can win with. I think for a fairly long time now after coming off of the roster.
I mean, this is my idea of Tarek, and this is maybe do a video on this, but like, this was where he had the option. You know, the word on the street was that his 2 options were between going to OpTic here and between going to Echo Fox, and I would have liked to see him join Echo Fox under Sean. I think that's where, to have that kind of a leadership, which he's never had throughout his entire career. I think the steps you've seen Rix take, Shazam take as well. Roka, you see it a little bit here and there. I mean, he still keeps a lot of his same style, but that system that Sean's putting in, I think that would have really helped Tarek.
Fortunately, we saw him jump onto OpTic.
Yeah,
the team house.
You know, the team house video was released. That's a bit of a sway in the other direction, right? It's got a pool.
Do you want to have a great leader, or do you want a hockey rink in your house with the ability to freeze the hockey rink and turn it into an ice hockey rink?
Yeah, that I guess that's a tough sell, tough thing to go against if you're Echo Fox.
Well, an indoor pool and a bar.
Haven't quite gotten the Echo Fox mansion going yet. But no, I mean, there's still, this is a team that overall, I mean, even I think Daps to a certain degree, and even personally, I guess I think I've kind of underrated him as a leader. He doesn't like bring anything groundbreaking in terms of strategy. He doesn't bring any like groundbreaking you know, mid-round calls that we see Sean do. He can't really marshal in general the team the way that Sean does. But what he does have is he has this team at least getting off these rounds with some kind of structure. And from there, they found a very good way to work together. And at least with his leadership, they've been improving, which has surprised me.
And out of game, of course, since the new coaching changes have kind of messed this up. But Devilwalk, hopefully, like the biggest issue for OpTic, we talked about this on the first day, is the fact that like strategically, they're still not really the brightest team.
They're never going to be. They don't have the personnel for that.
Really?
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate?
No, they're just. I mean, listen. If you're going to be a strategic team, if you're going to be that tactical powerhouse team, you need, you know, you can have the best coach in the world, but you also need to have a very good in-game leader who can read and when to switch up those tactics, when can switch up those strategies. And like I just said, that's not Daps. He's not that like deep strategical mind. I mean, he has them playing good and they're at a good level, but he's not going to be that tactical mastermind. We're never going to talk about him in the discussion of the best leaders in North America in terms of tactics. So. It's just not in the cards. The one interesting thing about Devilwalk is I know I had lengthy conversations with him when he was still in Fnatic, and also immediately after that when he went to play in Mythic, which turned into like the really old Luminosity roster. What was that he had like a set of rules, and I'm not sure if he's enacting these in OpTic, but he had a set of rules for that old Mythic team on things like they can and can't do during practice. Like, you know, he had a lot of almost, I guess you'd call them like drills he'd put them through, where, you know, he wanted them to turn the in-game volume down very low so that they had to base everything off communication. They basically forced them to use their team communication to kind of figure out how to play rounds and how to play situations versus using the in-game sound. So he was trying to do a couple different things to improve all the areas in which North American teams are generally stereotyped as being weak, which is communication, which is listening to your teammates. So I mean, he has some cool ideas. It'll be interesting to see what kind of impact they have.
Another interesting factor, specifically for this first map, we're going to see going into the play is Mixwell versus Skadoodle. There is going to be quite an interesting battle, which is the ops going up against each other. Mixwell probably one of the bigger powerhouses for OpTic at the moment, and Skadoodle showing some good stuff over the past couple of nights again. Those two are probably going to clash quite heavily here on this map. Yeah,
Skadoodle is still like he is entering this like revitalized portion where he's been dormant for quite some time, and still now, you know, he's at least we're seeing these flashy plays, right? We're not seeing that consistent beast that we saw last year, but we're seeing elements of it way more frequently than we did to start 2016. So that's cool. And in a map like Train, though, I think is going to be a little bit difficult for him just because he's not that like peak heavy opper. He's not the like peek and take control of this outer bomb site. He's more of like the passive, like hold this angle and just dominate everyone who shows up on my screen. So Train could be interesting. I think Mixwell might have a little bit of an advantage on this map in terms of opping.
And that aggressive style obviously is going to have to come from Stewie, since we need still that pressure to be able to move in so they can grab early intelligence and whatnot. So we just don't see OpTic being able to go for these executes while Cloud9 are basically blind to a lot of that. So I feel like a lot of that pressure is going to have to come from him.
Yes, I mean, Stewie. Yeah, and on this map as well, Shroud also can chime in with if he gets the right executes and the right fights that he can take. I mean, his precision is going to be big. Stewie is just always going to have to be a force for this team, and especially because as we've seen them improve over the past month or two, he's emerged as a player who's kind of really spurring that forward. He's also the caller for this team for the most part. He's kind of the person they look to lead them tactically, and also I mean he always talks about it. It's also Nothing chimes in as well. They have like I think who was it that put out that tweet that I think it was Nothing actually that said
you know, like, no one's
our
really
in-game leader is Stu, me, Shroud, whatever, and like in that order. Like, you know, he like lists like every single player. Shroud's obvious. I mean, Skadoodle's obviously at the bottom, naturally quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that in-game leading it does I think fall primarily on Stewie's shoulders.
To be able to try and lead the team to victory, which, I mean, we've already been seeing some very good stuff. The one that I call to mind, too, is the more smoke-heavy play that we saw back on, I think it was Cobble that they did this on, when their first match when they played against Liquid there, where they were able to drop down there and just jump through the smoke and completely throw them off, because they had like a full smoke setup to try and like box them out there at window, and then they just instead leap through it, completely catches them off guard, and it turns into an A pinch, like out of nowhere instead, and that completely threw Liquid off.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about Stewie as a leader is he's actually someone who, I mean, I know he's watched a lot of demos to improve as an individual, but I think he's also getting to the point now where he starts to take pride in his in-game leading. He's someone after they went 2-0 against Liquid last week. He actually messaged me after the Dust 2 match, and he was like, "What'd you think of those Dust 2 strats?" Because there were a couple rounds where they just flat out outplayed Liquid. It was pretty impressive, and it was just kind of funny. So it is cool to see him also taking a little bit of pride in the leadership aspect of Cloud9. But yeah, it's just going to be this will be. The issue with this is after we saw OpTic yesterday, this match could actually be really, really good, or if they show up like they did yesterday, it could just be a stomp.
Could just be Cloud9 shutting it down.
Well, yeah, and that's the worrying thing. So hopefully OpTic went over a couple of things. Obviously, they should have known what maps they'll be playing tonight, so they can at least kind of start to introduce that to Tarek and what role he'll be playing.
I mean, Stewie's just been showing up all over the place. I know. I'm not sure if you caught that clip or not from their game versus Energy yesterday. That happened over on the Starletter League.
Oh, the transfer to the back bench.
Stuff like that. It's just bringing out all those kinds of plays constantly. That was an amazing play we saw from him.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, he's definitely he's one of those players that can. Much like Nothing, he can create something. Oh my God, he can create something from nothing. Like when there's no play available, he actually can create his own kind of impact. So that's really cool to watch as well. He is one of the more exciting players.
And again, guys, we are still waiting for players to jump into the server. It looks like we have 8, or actually it looks like a 9th just joined. So we've about almost ready to go here. Hopefully about 2 more minutes. I will say that is just a guess, so don't take my word for it.
If it's not 2 minutes, destroy him on Twitter.
Oh, come on. I was so bad last time. When you did that to me like 3 days ago, I had like 50 mentions just because of that.
Listen, we'll teach you not to make these claims
is dangerous.
on live stream.
It's not fun.
We'll learn you a lesson.
Just floods at the feed, man.
Yeah.
I have some like tweets and you like look back on later on tonight. You like save stuff in my browser, but
it's actually that was pretty funny when you just got blasted. So we'll do it again. Hopefully they take a little bit longer than what should now be a minute and a half to when you
actually
destroy
this?
Blue on Twitter @BlueCSGO. Yeah, I am. I actually am.
Do they know how to spell my name though? That's the
BLU.
Well,
CSGO.
Okay, just screwed myself. Looks like, however, the game is going live, so you don't get to tweet at me, people. Get wrecked, Moses.
Feel free to do it anyways.
Get absolutely wrecked.
We are live.
Get destroyed.
Are going live into the pistol round. It is going to be Cloud9 on the CT side. And on the terrorist side, the question is how much utility is bought up. So Daps actually he picks up a smoke and drops a Tech9 over to Naf. So Naf's going to be raid boss. Stewie's got HE grenade, 2 flashbangs, Skadoodle with a kit and smoke.
And the rest of OpTic as well, pressing forward over towards the box halls right now, very decisively leading in towards an inner hit. Stewie trying to nade this off a little bit here. It's a bit early to connect in that regard, but he does also allow the members of OpTic room to push into this site. He's going to be playing this a lot more passively. They'll flood their way in. Mixwell actually just pushing the sidewalk area there too, trying to hold automatic inside of Z along with any of the rotators. And there's Stewie trying to hold against Rush. Skadoodle's picked up the first kill, but then Tarek and Rush press through. They take down 2. Skadoodle finding a trade on the Rush, and he even picks up a 3rd now on a Tarek. Nothing moving in on this flank. He could punish them big time here, and in fact, he's got the angle, but he screws it up a little bit on Daps. Manages to recover though, finishes him off, and it all falls to Naf. 1 kill pickup, but Shroud trades it out. They did find the bomb plant, but ultimately Cloud9 is going to win the pistol.
Yeah, that was almost got a little bit messy. Almost turned away from Cloud9, and There it is. There's the bomb, boys. Yeah, I mean, OpTic, they did a good job pushing up these lanes, staying aggressive, trying to gain control of behind the bomb train area. But unfortunately, they got a couple kills, and from there, it just kind of stalled out. And once Cloud9 kind of retakes that aggression, Daps gets caught on the flank. A little bit of an awkward fight for nothing. But once that aggression kind of gets pushed away because of nothing's flank, there's nothing for OpTic to really fall back on. So they get the plant. So they can buy in the next round if they choose to, and it looks like they more than likely will. They have upgraded some pistols, but not investing in the armor, not investing in too much utility. So NAF needs a big round with this Deagle.
OpTic again with a very straightforward press, though, going in through the height halls all the way over to the back halls. Stewie already picking up one with the shotgun, looking for some more here. Picks up a second on Mixwell. However, Tarek does trade him out. Will bring things into a 3-on-4. Of course, though, following up that big press, Cloud9 are going to rotate to make sure that they don't follow through with this one, but they've given up a little bit on this. They've fallen back a bit. They're kind of investigating an A split at this point now to see if they can try to execute that instead.
Well, I mean, there's nothing that really OpTic can execute at this point. It's much like the beginning of the round where they need this Deagle to get some kills. They did find Stewie after he gets 2. But from here, you can see they're split, and they're just allowing time for NAF to kind of prod out mid, see if he can find a kill. This shotgun is going to do absolutely nothing at this range. Without anyone else doing any additional damage onto someone, that shotgun is going to be very, very useless. So NAF still needs to find this pick, and no one is really peeking for him. He's going to have to go chase down this opportunity, and that's when you commit yourself. So Cloud9 playing this very smart.
NAF again is creeping up top there, but Automatic does find a 1 and 2 now as he dispatches of NAF. Unable to find anything with that Deagle. Tarek rolling his way into the B-bomb site. Not going to get a lot done there, unfortunately. So Skadoodle just takes him out. And Cloud9 roll ahead now, 2-0.
Yeah, this is where the AKs come out, though. Saving up for this round. And they have good utility as well. They have 4 smokes to use. And they have some decent flashbangs as well. So this round, unlike the other one, they can actually choose to execute some kind of tactic if they want to. It is going to be all rifles for the Cloud9 side. No op yet for Skadoodle. But they've got plenty of their own. They know this buy's coming in. You can see 4 Molotovs. How many do they want to use at the beginning? There's the first one just to slow down any kind of push, and it's working.
To be kept outside, and Stewie as well moves away from the ramp area just as we see 2 members of OpTic pressing up against it. So for now, not spotting any of that pressure just yet. Rush looking to try and place himself down below here in the ladder room too, but obviously checking it first. It is going to be a problem though if he jumps down. Automatic's waiting for him, and he goes, and this is where it could get dangerous. He's been sprayed, bails out very quickly, however, but a lot of damage is taken in the process.
Yeah, that's not worth it whatsoever either. That is the worst possible outcome there. So he's brought very, very low. Cloud9, this defense still hasn't had too much pressure. They have, because of the Molotovs, they still have 2 smokes and a Molotov to use on Automatic to block off these choke points. They haven't decided to do it yet. Nothing gets caught out in the open. Still, he holds on to his smoke. So they know that this is more than likely going to be an execution at some point. They want to save their utility. And we talked about this against Liquid. They did the same thing. Very good at saving those smokes, saving those Molotovs, and just draining the clock.
And they will bring the clock down quite a bit now as they approach the 45-second mark. They will need to try and push their way out onto the site. And again, they have wasted a lot of the CT's utility here, but at the same time, only 3 smokes themselves. They basically have their setup to get into the bomb site and then nothing else for post-plant scenario, where they will need to try and hold out against greater numbers from C9 more than likely. And as they press forward, Mixwell starts himself off, pushing up on top of the train. Dig down, though, to 25 HP. Has to immediately bail out from that position, and it'll fall to the rest of his teammates now pressing forward. Nothing will be blind. Does move in there to take him out, but Automatic also finds a kill at first. Takes down Rush. NAF creeping forward, finds Automatic, catches the trade there, but Daps not ready for Stewie to drop down over there in the ladder room. NAF is able to pick up 1 more, but it's not a very even 2-on-2 at all. And as they press back in, Mixwell just trying to find the plant, but he cannot even do that. Shroud executes it, and Cloud9 will take control of the first gun round.
Yeah, and this all comes down to how much time was wasted before that execution could come into OpTic, because they're winning some good fights. NAF with 2 entries here did a very good job, but I mean, look, 15 seconds on the clock when this happens. When it turns into a 2-on-2, there's less than 10, and the fact that they have to scramble to try and get that bomb down is what gives Cloud9 players the freedom to just wipe them off the map. So really, really good hold in this 3rd round from Cloud9, and now they're going up against just pistols again. And we also have the op out on Skadoodle.
So OpTic back to the usual strat that we've already been seeing here on their eco rounds and the pistol round too, which is just sending 4 all the way over to the box halls. Cloud9 are still expecting this, at least for the time being, to be an outer hit with 4 players committed and 3 in general kind of hanging out by Ivy. Daps has pressed his way over there initially, but is now falling back here with the rest of his teammates. And for the most part, initially you really only have Stewie to hold this inner bomb site.
Yeah, and they saw the trajectory of that smoke. They know it came from directly to the right of that entrance, so they're going to know he's directly beneath him. They're not going to check this, so maybe they didn't know. I thought they would have caught on to that. Either way, Stewie with 3 kills. 4th kill goes for the ace. Somehow, I mean, OpTic, they get absolutely nothing there. I thought they would have seen it. They were watching the smoke fly in, but 4-0 for Cloud9. A nice hold from Stewie, which is big as well because, like you said, there were 4 players very committed to this A bomb site when this hit comes in. And you can see, I think was it Rush or Tarek that just landed right behind the other one?
And instantly gets headshot. Not the best of luck there, unfortunately. So Stewie's going to rack up some nice kills there to make up for his own death. No problems at all going for the rebuy. And into this next round again, OpTic needs to start seeing some variance. I mean, this is a bit odd, at least from OpTic, that we're for the most part still seeing the same general strat, considering that their T-side has had quite a bit of a transformation from when they showed problems at their first big LAN, which was back at the E-League qualifiers. They've increased their overall T-side wins to a large degree since then, but this is not looking like a team that can actually impact very well on the T-side at this point. And look at this from Stewie, just dropping all the way down, is able to push in, picks up that kill. More of them are going to be executed here too, as Shroud finds the pick on the Naf. What do the rest of them do? Daps is hit seemingly out of nowhere down to 16 HP. Tarek finds 1 kill in the process, but this does not last long, and everything's on Mixwell now.
This Cloud9 defense, that was a fantastic round from them. Obviously, the Stewie push is going to be so frustrating for OpTic, but even on top of that, even when they see people outside, they're not letting them be comfortable. They're taking these angles to do damage. They're taking, these angles to prevent them from getting any ground. There's nothing OpTic can really do. Everything they want is just getting stopped. So the other thing as well is that Stewie play to pushing inner. That's some psychological warfare, man. That's going to be brutal in the future because OpTic is going to be worried about that for the rest of this half, and it happened so early. There's going to be 10 more rounds where they have to consider the possibility of him pushing inner.
Mixwell getting nothing done as he's the last player alive in that round, and for Cloud9 rolling through it, and the money starting to build up once again for these players. A few more still sitting a bit lower since they do have to go for at least 1 or 2 rebuys here every single time, but guys like Shroud on the post buy are still sitting at 10.7k, so plenty of money to be tossed around on the CT side at this point. And OpTic being unable to really just find a consistent number of plants, they're just right back down onto another eco. Yeah,
full losing bonus in their way, so they can afford it by Deagles, Tech9's armor. They've got 3 smokes, 2 flashbangs. Everyone's going to head towards inner. Unfortunately, Skadoodle's going to be here with Stewie. Although Skadoodle is going to get pressured pretty quickly. He's got to drop that Molotov to save himself. Doesn't want to take that fight. So he's going to fall away. He's safe for now. They have him all in box halls. Question is, when does this hit eventually come in? Cloud9 did cheat a 3rd player back, so OpTic might have to wait a little bit.
The good follow-up there thankfully keeps Skadoodle alive, and now it's up to OpTic again to re-innovate about how they're going to try and impact as much as they can on this round. Still holding most of their players at the moment inside of the box halls, but a bit of a risk possibly being taken by Tarek. He's posting up, trying to see if he can see anything really through the smoke, but there's not a lot to be seen. It's a perfect smoke, and even if he could see through it, there wouldn't be much to be seen. The T's themselves will now try to throw out a smoke, but the Stewie's already sitting up on top of the train, just waiting for a flash to roll out. Doesn't see it. He actually didn't notice Tarek, so he gets an angle advantage there. That's a big screw up from Stewie. Skadoodle makes up for it, though, moves back in and shuts down Tarek.
That's huge, because that's an attempted fake, or that's a successful fake, really. Mixwell already encroaching on the bomb site, gets 1 out of nothing. He wasn't prepared. Shroud's under a lot of pressure. The bomb, unfortunately, did not plant. That's on Mixwell. It's underneath the ladder now, and there might not be any recovering from that. It looked so dangerous for Cloud9. But thanks to Shroud, they've recovered 1 mistake out of Mixwell also.
And now Naf's going to press forward, more than likely end up walking right into Skadoodle here. There you go, dead man on the ground. And Shroud having no problem whatsoever. Dispatching of Daps will pick up the 6th for C9.
Yeah, this 1 kill really sells that fake from Tarek. That's nicely done. Everyone bit on that, and when nothing gets back, he eats a flashbang. It's Mixwell not just getting the bomb down. He pushed forward and went right beneath the ladder. And that's no good. It's not a good place for the bomb to fall. So heroics by Shroud give Cloud9 their 6th. Big lead on the defense.
Again, it's an early lineup for OpTic Gaming here to try and go for a default play into the A-bomb site, making some noise, of course, in the back of the site. But the problem is they push out Ivy this time, and Shroud is able to completely shut down that press.
They actually had all 5 members outside. Stewie even went with them to just throw a nade towards Connector, and he fell away after that. So this is tough for OpTic. Already a man down, but that's a good find. Nothing gets caught out in the open. No smoke to cover that choke point. That's a little bit of a blunder from the defense. Automatic, though. He's going to try and punish Mixwell on top, and he's going to do it. He gets 2 kills, in fact. Tarek comes right through the smoke to his death. Rush finally does clean him out. Daps close to the bomb site. They almost lined up for him, but it's quickly down to just Rush. 1-on-2 against Stewie and Shroud.
Rush trying to sneak his way over and throwing the flashbang to throw them off a bit, but the problem is they still have angles to try and cover pretty much everything else. Rush will need to retrieve the bomb, so he's going to prioritize this first. Now still looking for a way. Push his way over to the site successfully. And with 50 seconds on the clock, Rush does have plenty of time to play with this. Cloud9 not really doing anything over-aggressive. At this point, really just wasting this time to try and throw a rotate over to the B-bomb site, which has worked initially. But after Stewie sees nothing inside, he's just going to rotate right back out towards A. And is peeking out this angle, still secure for now. But again, Cloud9 are just ready for him. The second he presses up to the bomb train, they'll see it coming from a mile away. And right around the corner here, Shroud is going to be watching for him. And it's an easy one tap for Shroud to close out the round.
Unfortunate for Rush, but 7-0 now. OpTic's got to figure out what exactly is working for them. I mean, that round looked like it was going to turn in their favor before OpTic makes that play. That's part of the reason why Cloud9 has looked so good since he's joined the roster. A timely play made by him, getting aggressive at the right moment. Shuts everything down. So again, OpTic Gaming back onto the pistols with the armor. Gonna save up again. They want to have that AWP. They could have force bought some AK-47s this round, but they want to be able to have an op for their plans for any kind of tactics. I think that's going to be a key to getting them back into this. Pop flash down ladder room. Shroud again opening things up towards Ivy. Just drops Naf. And OpTic really hasn't been able to find any opening in these rounds.
I think hunting for some of the players that have pressed their way down into the ladder room there, but nothing to be found early on here. The rest have just shifted over to the box halls now, and they are going to try to just go for a fast execute onto the B bomb site. Stewie ready for this though. He'll smoke it back off to counter the smoke that is tossed in his direction, and tries to peek it, but Rush finding him. Skadoodle's still in the back though, finding one pickup. Is he going to spot Mixwell? No, he's not, but still readjusts for the frag anyway to take him down. Daps pressing forward. He wants to get aggressive to hunt these kills down, but he's only able to find one. OpTic with eliminating Daps closes out the round, and at this point it's just looking like OpTic running away with the CT side. OpTic, it's very, very basic, very one-dimensional from what we're seeing on their T side strats. There's nothing really advanced being done at all. On their eco rounds, they're for the most part just going for all-in B hits, and when they have guns, they're just going for outside plays.
Yeah, I mean, something, maybe trying another fake again. This is the switch-up they think is going to work, which, you know, ooh, Mixwell just spot a Mac 10 on accident. But they switch into a double op setup. So Naf and Mixwell both with the AWP. I imagine Naf, you know, they've had a tough time at Alley these past few rounds. Shroud has just been getting the first kill over there. So maybe take one there since Shroud's, you know, being very, very, you know, he's being very aggressive and peeking it. So maybe that's where they think. But I mean, this entire half they've been trying to slow things down to start to get a pick with AKs, and it just hasn't been working. So the same idea, just with two ops, is going to be employed here.
Heavy utility will stop OpTic again from going for a fast execute over onto the A bomb site. They are trying to bait out the shot from Skadoodle over there by jumping across T-Con, but it's not going to be done. Naf actually will open things up here too by spotting out Automatic from T-Connector and shutting him down over by the Ivy area. Beyond this, they press through and they won't see anything here as Daps holds this off.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the switch up, the double op setup. They wanted to use that to get the advantage, to not be the one playing the man down. So they have found success early on. It's all about completing it from here, and they're still going to give time. They know there's one pushed Ivy, so Naf is just going to hold for this. And there's Tarek chiming in, and nothing obliges Naf. He was so patient with that. Skadoodle, you're going to have to pull off the magic, and it's not going to happen. It's quickly just down to Stewie. So the first round is going to be on the board for OpTic as Mixwell cleans it out, and they haven't lost a single player. So the losing bonus is going to get reset. They won't have that if they return the favor, but they built up enough money to, even if they lose this, they're going to be able to buy again.
See here once more, players just getting a bit over aggressive on the Cloud9 side. They've been going for these more passive style of holding, letting OpTic run into them, but it seemed like a role reversal back there on the 9th round, and with that OpTic were able to hold back, take their time, and through that punish a lot of these kills early on to make it an easy cleanup once they actually moved in for the site execute. This time though, they're going all in on this press. Take a look at these players pushing up very aggressively out. Shroud's going to try to stop some of the T-side players from moving in, but at the same time Cloud9 also going for a very active defense on the A-bomb site. Move away from it a little bit here, but the positions from Nothing and whatnot, you can see it. Skadoodle already grabbing one of them in the meantime, down onto the B-bomb site, and Nothing is going to push his way up the ladder. Rush has heard it. Is he going to be ready for the duel? He shall. He'll be able to take down Nothing and find the trade.
Aggressive from Nothing. Almost works out in his favor. Maybe a second earlier and that ladder wouldn't have been heard. Either way, still no progress. It is a 4-on-4, but OpTic hasn't taken control of anything outside. Shroud with the op. Behind the trains over towards Ivy. It's a very spread out defense, actually. I mean, Automatic is pretty much all on his own at E-Box. Shroud's all on his own out back here. Skadoodle just now rotates to Bomb Train. So Stewie's going to be the man playing all by his lonesome, and it looks like that is where the majority of OpTic is going to shift their gaze. Rush leading the way for the moment it's smoked out. And both the oppers now, Skadoodle's put himself in a position where it's not the fastest rotation back in to help cover for Stewie. So if Rush just gets aggressive, if he's feeling confident and he just pushes forward, unfortunately he's not going to spot Stewie. Are they going to expect this spot?
Stewie in front of Spindles. He's checked behind it, but he hasn't looked around it. Look at this from Stewie. He's going to grab it. The first kill transfers the spray once again there, but is traded out by Daps. They clear the site, but now they're a man down here, and they still have to worry about Skadoodle, who's already in the bomb site. losing Daps. It's all down to Mixwell here in a 1 versus 3, and he's got a flank creeping up behind him from Automatic. So we'll go for the plant. Automatic, though, is just going to move right in, deny that, and Cloud9 strike right back and cause the reset against OpTic's favor.
That is such a sick play from Stewie. Because this takes him longer than he would have liked. Obviously, that's supposed to be almost an immediate headshot, but to be able to control the recoil with that kind of a spin, that's huge. Because if he falls there, OpTic is still in a pretty decent spot. That second kill buys time for Skadoodle to get that angle. What a play. And like I said, they lose the round. They're still able to buy on the OpTic side, so it's not all lost, but that double op setup they used to get their first round isn't possible, and they can't even have a single AWP.
He's going deep there, and again, he's going to do decent damage to Naf and Mixwell as the fast executor rolls out. Shroud grabbing Tarek, though, just by the clip of his back, it seemed like, and Nothing picks up a second. Bit messy there as that Molotov actually does a decent amount of damage to both Nothing and Automatic, but nonetheless, OpTic creeping forward. They get slight control of the bomb train, but it's going to be a bit of a mess there. Automatic swiping one from heaven before being traded out to Daps. And in a 4v2, Stewie again, crazy there. It's actually Rush that grabs the kill, but you might as well have gotten it there as well. Had Stewie been a little bit slower on the trigger. As Daps move forward, there's not a whole lot of room left for him to wiggle through it. And with that, Stewie's going to move in to punish and shut things down. Yeah,
this is just confidence from Cloud9. They're so quick and aggressive on the rotations, on the flanks coming in, that even when OpTic finds any success, which they didn't find much that round, but when they do, I mean, they're already being flanked out. It's a very nice shot. Nothing as well, getting completely blinded there, but grabbing the kill right at the end. Just a good all-around performance here from Cloud9. Up 10-1, back onto the pistols for OpTic. The losing bonus has to build back up again. They'll buy in the next one, and they just need to start putting rounds on the board. There's only 4 left. They need to get up towards. They need to get to 5 here. This is a very tough Cloud9 defense.
Naf just peeking his way out on Ivy, and also Shroud spotting the second player, but ooh, actually clips that shot just off of a little barrier there. So he's going to miss the second one on the Tarek. He's waiting for him to push with the pistol in hand, but even if he falls there, he does have the support of Mixwell. However, Mixwell himself presses up. A bit of an awkward exchange at the mini cubby there. But at the end of the day,
I think Automatic was reloading. Shroud's going to be like, what the hell, dude? Why weren't you shooting? That's a little bit frustrating, but oh well. Laugh it off, boys. Still the double op, and in the past we've seen the double op on Stewie. Perhaps on this map, just because he's playing inner, they don't want him using the AWP because he's often the solo player there. So the M4 provides a little bit more versatility. But Shroud picking it up here to pretty good effect. It's Skadoodle leading the way at 15 and 4. Shroud and Stewie both at 13.
Interestingly, Nothing down at 3 and 7, but this is one of those cases where you can't even really fault him because the score lines are just so different. Daps with a nice opening kill, moves in. Adjustment gives him a frag onto Stewie to open up with an advantage in the favor of OpTic. For the first time in quite a while we have that, but Cloud9 also having some very aggressive positions, but they're all being punished. Again, that's Automatic, who is sitting in the ladder room there, gets taken down by Rush.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he decided to do that. Maybe they were going to, initially the plan was to pinch up the ladder and from inner, but with Stewie dying, no reason for Automatic to make that play that late. Nothing also falls. It's down to the 2 AWPs. There's one chiming in. Very little utility on the OpTic side. Skadoodle's got free reign, grabs a second one. He gets a third as well, jumping up in the bomb train. 1 left. It's just down to Naf after he takes out Shroud in this movement. I don't think Naf is going to expect this, but Skadoodle's got to be honest, and he can't adjust in time. Naf bails him out of a tough spot.
Almost a god play from Skadoodle there, but unfortunately falls to Naf at the very end of that one. And again, it's Cloud9 being over-aggressive with their positioning there that ends with screwing them over and handing around into the hands of OpTic. Can't afford to do this, granted, with their scoreline, but just need to watch out for that, as this is the second time they've done that now, and unfortunately have been destroyed because of it.
Those are the plays from Skadoodle that make you shake your head and wonder. Very, very nice sequence. They still have money to buy in this one. He still has that op in his hands, and he's had it pretty much the whole half, which lends itself to the scoreline. Skadoodle's able to keep that up for this many rounds. It's just so tough to string rounds together. They go away from the double op at least. Shroud's not playing with that anymore. And while it's a buy from the OpTic side, you can see Tarek on the Tech-9 and Daps on the Galil a little bit light.
Also not really paying attention too much to the Ivy press this time. Shroud's been fairly active in the way that he's been peeking it previously, but he's kind of going to let Mixwell be. Naf was originally pushing towards this area too, but has since fallen away. And now the only question remaining is this execute over here towards the A site going to be a surprise at all to Cloud9, or are they seeing this coming from pretty far away? And at the moment, only 3 fully committed. They did have Skadoodle hanging out on the B side of Z. But as he smokes things off over there on the ramp to help his teammate out, he is going to fall back. So I think they expect something to roll into the site at any moment.
Yeah, just waiting for this hit to come in. So Stewie's going to be patient. Skadoodle's going to be outside. Here comes the execute. Skadoodle is a little bit flashed up. The smoke's going to block his vision. He's very fortunate Daps was blind in that cross. Automatic, though, pushing forward. Tarek wins that with the Tech-9. He's brought very, very low, 4 HP, and nothing's going to try and shore up that gap in the defense, and he does it initially. Mixwell falls. That's the long-range opper. That's the sniper trying to support OpTic, and they've been stalled out.
Now as they move into the bomb site, they're a bit stuck on actually trying to get to the site itself, getting up to the train here, hunting for at least one more kill so they feel that confidence. Tarek peeking up, it'll be spotted by Stewie. However, Stewie can't find the kill just yet. Shroud moves in and takes down Rush, but Tarek also finding nothing in the process here. Down to just one left alive for OpTic at this point, and oh, Shroud ducking out of the way of Tarek, but with Tarek only at 4 HP, it'll be an easy closeout for Shroud with him finding that flank, moving back from the Ivy push, picks up 3 kills on that one. And a 12th round for C9.
And that's a reset on top of everything. Into the last round, it's only going to be pistols and a Bison for Rush. Because why not? Maybe that was actually a misbuy as well, because he drops it in Discuss almost immediately. But it's going to be a very, very tough buy for them. Yeah, that had to have been a mistake, because he doesn't even have armor. So a little bit of frustration on the OpTic side. Although, who knows? Rush might just win this round.
Bison, man.
It's like the Klob from GoldenEye. It's like that gun that no one just ever wants to use.
And Naf finds the first kill there with the Deagle pickup. Not going to see any action just yet with the SMG, but Tarek wrapping around 2. Tarek's actually got a really crazy amount of control of the site right now, but he'll be punished pretty quickly due to the more passive play. And oh no, Rush! You had a perfect angle against nothing, and you're going to flub it. Mixwell moves in there, does manage to finish the job, and he goes a player up in heaven, but Skadoodle with the fast trade goes into a 1v2. Naf now looking to take down Stewie and Skadoodle. He's got armor behind this Deagle and plenty of time to play with, but he's got no clue where to find either of them.
Yeah, he's got a tall task, and Cloud9's playing so far at range. He spots one up above. Now he's been spotted out as well. A minute left to play with, but, I mean, he doesn't have the bomb. So it'd have to be miraculous from Naf. And I don't even think he spotted Skadoodle there, unfortunately. Cloud9's still just playing so close together at the bomb trap, but somehow they lose track. Skadoodle's going to take this fight, and Naf somehow wins it. The unlikeliest of scenarios, and Skadoodle with the pistol out can't win that. So a 3rd round for OpTic, but still a long way to go.
And Naf, with him clutching that final round there, that is going to give us a 12-3 half. Obviously not the biggest deal for OpTic to close that one out. Still an easy lead for Cloud9. We're going to see in just a few minutes if they continue that now on their T side. Be sure to stick around, guys, and we will be back with more of the ESL Pro League.
He's going to get the 1 kill in that bomb coming onto the side. FNX has to stay up. Oh, he gets the triple FNX. Oh my god, what a way to win that round. They don't have a smoke, so this over still.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, once again with the second half here on Train between OpTic and Cloud9, who had an absolutely stellar first half on their CT side. And now we get to see, of course, if OpTic has anything to show us on their own CT side, or if it's just going to be a quick second half, and Cloud9 will close the first map. Yeah,
I mean, the tough part, obviously, with this level of disparity, it's possible on a map like Train, with how CT-sided it can be, but we didn't see it out of OpTic. Really, I mean, it just seemed dominant individually for Cloud9. And on top of that, there's just no mistakes really to give here. You have to establish your economy early. You have to keep it strong throughout the half. One reset, and they're basically playing for overtime.
And we will be getting back into the game now, guys, as the pistol round is beginning. Big test indeed ahead for OpTic, as they need to claim this to keep themselves in this match. So let's head into the game and take a look.
Skadoodle has a smoke and 2 flashes.
Nice observation.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Daps with the utility as well, smoke and a kit. Most of Cloud9 heading towards this inner bomb site. Actually, there's a decent amount of utility. Nothing also picks up a smoke Molotov, and he's out towards Ivy right now, though. Imagine he's going to be lining up some... don't know, maybe this is just a backup plan and he'll come in with that Molotov if they get the bomb planted. Skadoodle is still staying right above ladder, so that bomb, he has the bomb as well, so he can transfer between the sites very quickly, which actually lends me to believe this is eventually going to be an A hit, just because of the positioning, because nothing is waiting to have some kind of a set smoke. Skadoodle in the middle with the bomb will be interesting to decide what they want to do.
But for now, at the moment, still just playing with the B-bomb site. Throwing a decoy out there to make some noise. OpTic pretty heavily leaning on that as well. Keeping, at the moment, both Daps and Mixwell fully committed and having Tarek on top of the ticket booth ready to rotate. But he might get a chance to shut down Nothing if he pushes too aggressively here. And in fact, he's going to move in, but Tarek cannot find the shot just there. So Nothing will fall back, and the rest of Cloud9, they're going to commit to the rush down the ramp to get themselves into the inner bomb site. And look at his position from Stewie. He's been given so much free room to push all the way up towards Z. He's even going to move inside to cut off Rush. Rush has no idea what just hit him. He's even going to move out. There's a second pickup from Stewie now. Looking for a third as the smoke starts to fade away. He's got open presence to try and take down Naf, but Naf falling away. Regardless, though, OpTic don't have anything to do here. Stewie finding another pickup, and that's going to be a fourth cell. Last one left alive is going to be Daps. Can Stewie grab the ace? And yes, he can. He is going to do it. Stewie just absolutely dominates OpTic, and will continue the lead here into the second half for C9.
That's obviously so nicely done from Stewie, but just the fights, you could see the difference. OpTic and their Pistron did the same thing where they pushed up these lanes and got aggressive. Well, I mean, Cloud9's taking these fights at all the right places, and they're also staying far enough back behind these trains to where they can't really die. They can get safe if they're under pressure, and they have their teammates supporting them. So OpTic pushing all the way down and getting killed in their Pistron. Cloud9 is just able to take whatever fights they want, and that's a nice flash. Automatic finds one. There's one more there they haven't found. That's Tarek. It's just a matter of time.
Yep, everything falling apart very quickly, it would seem, for OpTic. The final three were already in the B-bomb sites. The problem is they're working from basically the start of their rotation when Cloud9 already has full site control. Moving out, Mixwell just found in the open there by Automatic. Easy pickings for him, and they're even going to be... I think they know that there's going to more than likely going to be a save call at this point, so just moving out to hunt down the remaining players.
Yeah, I mean, no reason to really hunt and risk. I mean, I guess you're not really risking too much of this situation. Automatic, though, he's got 4 kills. Maybe wanting to go for the ace. This is where if you're rushed, you're just like, you almost like want to run in the opposite direction. But I mean, no one from Cloud9 chasing this down. He's gonna perhaps actually Stewie and Nothing, as I say that, start pushing up. But he's in CT spawn. He's relatively safe. But still, this is gonna be 14-3 for Cloud9. They haven't taken any damage in this round. This couldn't have gone more perfect for them.
And it looks like the only one that will save, since most exit through Ivy, is going to be Rush. So not much of an effort being put forward by OpTic here in this third round as well. Just going to be the default pistols for the most part. A couple random P250 investments. Whoa.
No, they're buying out.
They're buying out here.
Well, I mean, don't really have an option, you know?
Yeah, but...
I mean, it's sort of like a lose-lose situation, right? Like, you're either going to stop him from getting to 15 now, or you just have to win 12 straight, which is very, very unlikely.
It's been a while since I've seen it, though. Most teams just try to play for the tie. And anyway, Automatic again starts us off with the first kill there. Deagle trying to do some work with them, but unfortunately, Daps is going to be the only one that picks up a kill at this point. It's down to a 4 versus 3. Some good damage done to Automatic. And in fact, there we go. Tarek picking one up. Stewie, though, trying to round it, but it's messy, and Tarek is able to find a kill. Rush surprises, but Shroud recovers. They're able to take him down, even combos it into a second against Rush. So everything on Daps, but he's got them low. It's not going to matter, though. Shroud closes out in a bit of a chaotic round there. It's really Shroud that saves the day.
Take a breath.
It blew up, man.
Yeah, I would say so. 3-15 OpTic. Once again,
I apologize for non-native English speakers in the chat.
Jesus. OpTic is going to have, or Rush is going to have the M4. Deagle's on Mixwell and Daps. It's a last-ditch effort. They have to play for overtime now. They have to win 12 straight. Molotov's all over for Cloud9. Last round got a little sketchy on that outside execute. Shroud's going to pop flash himself down. That's really nice. Tarek's completely blind. Is he going to pounce, or is Shroud going to be the one to bring the aggression? Here comes Tarek. Swings in with that 5-7. Can't get the kill, though. Shroud recovers in time. Daps is the next one that's going to be in a tough spot. You can see Stewie starting to encroach with Automatic. They're going to drop down. They're going to swing on this bomb site, and it's Automatic who finds Daps. All of a sudden, the B bomb site is wide open. Shroud's still alive as well, watching the flank. That flashbang blinds a bit. Mixwell on the ladder, shooting straight up.
Mixwell actually thought he missed his chance to take down Shroud, but in fact, he was able to keep it together, and now the retake moving in. Keep in mind, the members of Cloud9 are somewhat spread apart, but for good reason. It's to hold these aggressive angles where Automatic Stewie and Nothing are just going to absolutely clean up against Cloud9, and that will close it out very quickly. Our first map goes into the favor of C9, taking what I would assume at this point was the map twist from OpTic, but didn't really seem like it, unfortunately, due to the scoreline.
We mentioned this was a possibility, right? We said that if this is the OpTic that came in yesterday, this was going to be another blowout loss for them, and unfortunately, they suffer another one. So hopefully, we'll see them start to get it together on the next map. But that was brutal to watch, and that Cloud9 defense was vicious.
And to talk about that more, let's send it back over to Tom and, of course, Ryu at the board.
Yeah, OpTic Gaming still struggling to find their footing ever since the new addition of Tarek. Meanwhile, C9 moving to 5-0 in Season 4. 1 win away in this next map. They will move into a tie for first place against Echo Fox. Meanwhile, I'm going to throw this over to Ryu at the telestrator to break this one down.
Thanks, Tom. So we're going to take a look at that second round, the second half pistol round, where the juvenile Stewart 2000 had a beautiful ace. And I want you to take note of that smoke. I'm gonna display where that actually gets thrown or where it lands, despite where it's being thrown from. And you're gonna see that there's gonna be 2 smokes that enter when this execute happens. Stewie is known for playing around smokes. Some people think smokes are their ally. Stewie was born into the smoke. He was molded by the smoke, and you'll see he's just gonna make huge plays. Gonna chase for the ace here. Well deserved. Probably the most confident player right now in the world, I would say, the way he's been playing. So what makes this smoke so cool, and the reason why I wanted you to pay attention to that, despite the fact, as we look here on the board, that Nothing is outside of T-spawn, it's a running jump throw. So he's actually running. He's going to press 2 keys because you're not allowed to script the jump throw into 1 key anymore. And this smoke is actually going to come all the way over and land here. This is the smoke that Stewie goes through. And so the other thing it allows is that Nothing also has a Molotov that he bought at the start of the round, that he can be the late play if Stewie doesn't get all those kills pushing through the smokes. And then the smoke from one of the players here is just kind of a standard backlane smoke. So it cuts off visibility on the right side. They're able to push down pretty aggressively, and we saw Stewie just kind of make a line here. Gonna get all the way up into the connector, got 2 kills, got a 3rd kill, ended up closing it with a really, really nice ace. And nothing crazy tactically, but just an interesting twist on a traditional inner hit. And it's something that when I saw it setting up, I was hoping we were going to get a chance to chase that smoke. It's a unique smoke. It's actually thrown slightly different than I've seen before, but super effective, and it allowed Stewie to go and do his thing.
Why do you think that it is that C9 came out so dominant so far? Do you think that all these teams just coming off vacation, meanwhile C9 just has that extra amount of practice, or are they just individually outworking everybody?
I think we're starting to see them find their form. We'll take a look at the stat here on the bottom of your screen. Skadoodle, 20 kills, only 6 deaths. He's come back to form. We've talked a lot about Stewie, and he's been playing probably the best Counter-Strike of his career, super consistently. And we're seeing him start to play with the confidence that in his head, he probably thinks he's the best player in the world. He pushed in a couple rounds, jumped down ladder, and just like, oh, I'm going to get this kill. And a kill that he actually got. Not too many other players can say that that's a kill that they would, A, be confident that they would get, or B, that they would actually get. And you just see it in the way he's playing. The other guys, I think maybe getting Tim or Automatic onto the team and replacing Slemmy, they just feel like, hey, we can go take these fights. We can outshoot anybody right now. Let's take them, and then we can change the way we play based on the fact that we can be super aggressive and be confident in doing it.
So when it's all said and done, would you say that C9 in the offseason kind of won, the roster mania or the shuffle when it comes to picking up Automatic, because he's shining?
In North America right now, yeah, I think so. I think when we saw so far, Tarek just hasn't really seemed to really mesh well with OpTic. I don't think anybody really played well for them. Naf, I think, won them 2 rounds because he had like that 1v2 in the last round of the first half. They get a 1v1 sometime earlier. See there, Mixwell, 8 kills on a map like Train. Just they're not going to win if Mixwell doesn't frag out on a map that's so friendly and supportive to his opping style. And yeah, I would say without knowing how the European teams are going to do with the roster shuffles they've had there, certainly looks like Cloud9 won the NA roster shuffle so far.
Well, we saw OpTic Gaming fall to Team Liquid 16-3 in the first map yesterday. Let's see if they can bounce back just like they did and put up some sort of fight against C9. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank one of our sponsors, The Score Esports, for making this season happen. So take out your phone, go on your iOS device or your Android device, go to the Google Play App Store, check it out. It's the best place for news and stats, and don't go anywhere. We're going to return with the final map of the night right after this.